In Lesson 4 of Unit 5, we will study the concept of adding fractions with like denominators symbolically. In this lesson, we will use only numbers symbols to complete the addition calculation involving fractions with like denominators. And the idea that the denominators will be the same is important here. So a little recipe, I guess. When adding fractions with like denominators, this is like the process you should go through. First of all, keep the same denominator in your answer. Add your numerators, add those top numbers. And obviously, simplify your answer if required. Let's consider the following examples. Add the following. In our first example, we have the fractions 3/8 plus 4/8. We see our common denominator is 8. We copy it down. So we're going to follow the recipe that I suggested now. Then we look at our numerators, and the next step tells us to add our numerators. So 3 plus 4, 7. And then we check to see if we can simplify. 7/8 cannot simplify. I'm going to point out here, you could, if you wanted to, you could insert a second step. So we copy down the common denominator. You could show that you're adding 3 plus 4 up top, but not necessary. I'll leave it up to you. If you wish to do this step in your head, that's perfectly okay. In B, 7/10 plus 1/10. Common denominator, 10. Copy it down. Numerators, 7, 1. Add them. 7 plus 1 is 8. Next step, check for reducing. Now we should realize here 8 and 10 are both even numbers, so guaranteed 2 will go into both nicely. And in fact, 2 is the GCF for 8 and 10. So we're going to divide numerator by 2, denominator by 2, and we get 4/5. Final answer. I'm going to put in a little plug for learning your multiplication facts here, especially when it comes to reducing. That process can become so much easier if you know your multiplication facts well. So if you haven't mastered them already, people, there's always time. Okay, C. Common denominator, 15. Copy it down. Numerators, 8 and 4. Add them. And 8 plus 4 is 12. Simplest form? Nope, because 3 will go into both 12 and 15 nicely. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Because 3 times 4 is 12, and 3 times 5 is 15. 4/5 is simplest form. Done. Now in D, you see 3 fractions, but that's okay. The process is the same, and we have 3 common denominators, all 12, just copy it down. 3 numerators, just add them all. So 1 plus 5 plus 4 gives us 10. Now we check for simplification. Yes, this can reduce. 2, the GCF for 10 and 12. 10 divided by 2 is a 5. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Done deal. And to finish this video, we're going to look at a little word problem. There's a gorgeous blueberry pie. Josiah, Samuel, and Beth shared a homemade blueberry pie. Josiah ate 3/10. Samuel had 1/10. And Beth decided to have 2/10. Our first question: what fraction of the pie did Josiah and Beth eat in total? So if we go back to our word problem, I see that Josiah ate 3/10. Beth decided to have 2/10. So I look for a keyword in total. So that means I need to add 3/10 plus 2/10 for your workings. Common denominator is 10. Copy it down. Add the numerators, 3 and 2, 5. And still, even though it's a word problem, we still check to see if our answer is in simplest form. And we realize that 5/10, that can simplify, definitely. You might be able to get this one right away without even thinking about it. 5/10 is the same thing as 1/2. So Josiah and Beth ate half the pie. And our second question, what fraction of the pie did all 3 friends eat? So this time it's not just Josiah and Beth we're considering, but Samuel as well. So what we're going to do here, we're going to show the addition for all 3 fractions. So 3/10 for Josiah, 1/10 for Samuel, 2/10 for Beth. Common denominator all the way through is 10. Copy it down. Add the numerators. We got a 3, we got a 1, we got a 2. We add those up, we get a 6. But let's not leave that as our final answer because it can reduce. Divide numerator by 2, denominator by 2, we get 3/5. So how much of the pie did all 3 friends eat? They all ate, in total, 3/5 of the pie. So there's some left over for me. Now I would like you to proceed to the activities for Lesson 4.